part 1 of the MERS training. In this training, we'll cover the basic functions, the screens and fields that you'll use, reports, and business rules. Now, some of the basic functions that we'll cover are registrations and transfers. We'll also talk about submitting single loans and submitting batch loans. We'll also cover the 3 tabs that you'll be working with: registration, transfer of rights, and deactivation. We'll also cover 2 reports that if you're not going to use the MERS interface, that you can still use these reports to assist you in registering your loans and keeping track of loans that have been submitted but not registered or transferred yet. Now, there are several business rules that you'll want to make sure that the ProLender administrator has set up. So these just basically make sure that the key information has been entered in the system so that when you do send over your loans to MERS, all of the information that they required has been completed. You don't want to keep sending over loans with incomplete data, so using the business rules will ensure that that information does get completed. So let's go ahead and go into ProLender and take a look at the MERS information screen. So the screen where you'll track all of your MERS information is in the post-closing department under the MERS information. You'll see that there are 3 tabs, one for registration, transfer of rights, and deactivation. Now, you'll want to make sure that on the registration tab, the loan has been selected as MERS loan equals yes. Now, your ProLender administrator can default this so that all of your new loans automatically are marked as MERS loans. And if there is the off chance that there's a loan that isn't going to be registered with MERS, you can come in here and change it to no. But if the majority of your loans are going to be registered with MERS, I would recommend that your administrator defaults all of the loans to say yes. Now, you'll want to select the investor, and it's typically the lender. And notice when I select one of these options, the corresponding org ID will automatically populate. If you choose other, you'll be able to manually enter in a MERS org ID. You'll want to select your interim funder, which would typically be your warehouse bank, but it can be something else. And then your interim funder, your servicer, is typically your investor, but of course you can choose any of these options. And if you have a sub-servicer, chances are you'll select other and manually type in their MERS org ID. Now, on the right, you'll notice the MERS MIN number. Now, we automatically generate this for you based on the org ID, the loan number, and then a check digit. Now, we have an option for you to regenerate the MIN number under Actions. Now, this would be used if, when the loan was added to ProLender, an office was not selected at that time, or maybe an office was selected, but the org ID hadn't been entered yet, and we generated the MERS MIN number based on the company's org ID. If you have an individual office org ID and you want to generate the MIN number based on that org ID for the office, you can use this action item, and it will regenerate this MERS MIN number for you using the office's org ID if it has been entered in ProLender. Now, at this point, you'll want to leave your MERS status empty because you haven't actually submitted this loan yet. And you'll want to make sure that it does say MERS originated, yes, and we'll leave the registration date empty until it's actually been registered. Now, before we can actually register or transfer rights or do anything, we need to make sure that we open up a connection with MERS. So your administrator will need to set up a VPN connection. Once that's done, you'll need to turn it on. So I can turn mine on by going to my Start menu and finding my VPN connection. Here you'll see that I have a connection here. I've just named it MERS. And I can click Connect, and that will allow me to connect securely with MERS. So I can have that open connection and send my loan information directly to them. Now, when it is connected, you'll see a little yellow padlock at the bottom of your screen indicating that that connection is open. If it is disconnected, then the padlock will show as open. So now that I've completed this information that's required, and I've made sure that my connection with my MERS VPN connection is open, I can go up to Actions and click on Submit MERS Transaction. Now there's 3 options, but since we've only completed our registration tab, you want to select Loan Registration and click Select. Now that will send this loan's information over to MERS. So when that happens, my MERS status will automatically change to Submitted. So for this loan, when I use that feature, I send it over to MERS, that status will automatically change to Submitted. Now, MERS usually takes, from what I hear, 24 hours or so to take that loan that's been submitted and actually register it. So keep that in mind, that it may not show up automatically as being registered because there is a time delay. Now, once that loan is actually registered, you can come in here and transfer rights. So you'll want to select the type of transfer. You'll enter in all of your key dates, just as you were to, if you were to go to the MERS website and manually enter this information, you'll want to enter it here just the same. We'll select our information, and if you need to manually enter a org ID, you can do that, or a doc custodian, you can do that as well. Again, we'll save our changes. And I'm going to go back up to Actions, click on Submit MERS Transaction, and this time I'm going to choose Transfer of Rights and click Select. So once all of this loan information gets sent over to MERS, it's going to automatically change my MERS status to Transfer Submitted. So anytime I can come in here and I can see what my MERS status is, if I've submitted the transfer, it's going to have a status of Transfer Submitted. Now, once I confirm with MERS that the transfer has actually taken place, I can change that MERS status to transferred. Now, in the event that you have to deactivate a loan, you can come in here and complete this information. The new servicer, their org ID, the sub-servicer, if there is one, you want to enter in the assignee name, their address, and then, of course, the deactivation type. You'll want to select and the liquidation date. So again, you would save your changes, go up to Actions, Submit MERS Transaction, and click on Loan Deactivation. Now, you rarely will have to deactivate a loan, but in the chance, or in the case that you do, you can do that from ProLender. So that's how you would submit a registration, submit a transfer of rights, or submit a deactivation for a single loan through ProLender. So that concludes part 1 of the MERS training.